Have a page which shows this diagram here. Okay, the continuum of experience, beliefs, energy, emotions, and body. Now, this shows how our reality is created. The first step in the creation of our reality is the stimulus. What happens? Okay. Now, a stimulus could also be a thought. It doesn't have to be an event. An event would be that we win money, we lose money, someone gives us a compliment, someone criticizes us, our child does well, our child does not do well. Okay, so these are events which go into our mind and pass through the second box here, which is what we believe, our programming. So our reality is not so much the result of what happens as it is the result of what we believe. If the same event happens to all of us, each of us will experience that event in a different way depending on our belief system. And our belief system is a function of our childhood programming. It is the experiences we had until today which causes us to believe that a certain event is positive or negative. Now, how do we evaluate if an event is positive or negative? We have like filters or frames of reference which evaluate that event on 4 levels. Does this increase or decrease my security? Does this make me more secure or less secure? If it makes me more secure, I feel happy. If it makes me less secure, I feel fearful. Okay? Does this affirm me? Does this make me more worthy or less worthy? So if I believe that someone's comments to me makes me less worthy, then I have a problem. If I don't identify my self-worth with what this other person thinks and have an inner sense of self-worth, then I have no problem. Okay? And the third is freedom. Is what is happening here limiting my freedom or allowing me to be freer to be who I am and do what I want? And the fourth is pleasure. Is what is happening increasing my possibilities of experiencing pleasure and joy in life, or is it limiting it? Okay. So whatever happens or whatever we think, because the event could be something that happened in the past, or it could be a thought about the future. What's going to happen next year when I get my pension, or when am I going to be healthy? So it could be something that's not even happening. A lot of people are obsessed about things that are not even happening in their life, which may or may not happen. Okay? So in this case, we will create in our own minds, in our own bodies, positive or negative feelings depending on what we believe about what is happening. Okay? And that creates, number 3, our emotions. So our emotions are created by what we believe about what is happening or what we are thinking about. And our emotions create our reactions. So we then react internally and externally. An internal reaction would be clenching my stomach, creating an ulcer, raising of my blood pressure. An external reaction would be to avoid someone, to shout at someone, to speak or not to speak, or to try to do something about the problem. Our reactions then create feelings in others, and then we have this vicious circle, and when we have to do with others, of 2 programmed robots communicating or interacting, in which my programming is reacting to the other person's programming, and often we have problems created because neither of us are conscious. Now, let's talk about these beliefs. I'd like to give you just an example about beliefs. I'd like to give you two short examples. One is about elephants. When elephants are babies, they put a chain around the elephant's legs and a metallic chain and a metallic spike which does not allow that elephant to move. The elephant gets programmed throughout the years, and when it becomes a large, very large and powerful being, they just put a wooden peg and a piece of rope, and the elephant cannot move. Obviously, it has the physical ability to move, but it has the programming that it cannot, because it says, there is something tied to my leg, and my experience is, and my programming is, that I can't move away from that. Sometimes they just put a peg without a rope, and the elephant stays there. Now, we are all like that elephant. We have had experiences in our childhood years which have told us that we are not worthy, that we don't know, that we are not capable. And we are today limiting ourselves by those false perceptions. I'll give you another example. This is a story. This is not true. This is a story. The elephant thing is true. Once there was a great lioness who was hunting, and she came upon a flock of sheep. And with her was her little lion cub. And in the chase, she fell off the cliff and died. And this little lion cub grew up with the sheep. And growing up with the sheep, it became programmed like a sheep. It would go ba-ba, it would eat grass, it would be fearful. And one day this great lion came and started chasing this flock of sheep. And he saw this lion, which had grown up now, running away, bleeding, and crying. And he grabbed him and said, "What are you doing? Why are you behaving in this way?" He said, "Well, you're a lion, and I'm a sheep, and I am in danger from you." He said, "Come with me." And he took him down to the lake, and he said, look at yourself in the water, and look at me. What are you? What do you look like?" He said, "Well, I look like a lion." And he realized his true self. So all of us are actually very powerful spiritual beings. We have unlimited power within us. But we have been programmed by a family, a society, by TV, by magazines, to believe that we are weak, that we don't know, that we have to listen to others, that we are insecure, that life is difficult, that life is dangerous. And we have lost our true nature. Then these spiritual beings come around, like Christ, and they say, "Well, look, this is not true. If you had just this much faith, you could do miracles as I do." But very few people believe that. Okay? So we are here today to learn a very effective method for getting free from those wrong beliefs. And it's an energy way. Now, I have worked with cognitive therapy and with belief transformation for 30 years. And it does work. But what happens is, it works on one part of us. And there's always this other subconscious part which is doubting. So consciously, I know all of these spiritual truths. I have this faith. I'm a logical person. But if you touch one of my emotional buttons, and you trigger one of those fears I have in my subconscious, I become a dual personality. On the one hand, I am aware of the truth that I am not in danger, that I'm a good person, that I am worthy, that I know. On the other hand, I doubt and I fear. And that doubt and fear create a whole variety of other emotions: anger, hate, jealousy, bitterness, and other emotions.